Hey, I'm joined here by Michael Harbin of Harbin Insurance. So, Michael, tell me a little bit about what you do and for how long you've been doing it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much, Nate. I appreciate you having me on. And I've been in the insurance business for going on about 17 years now. Got licensed out of high school, started doing it part time through college, and really developed a passion for working with businesses and getting involved in what they were doing. And so, really been that's been my focus ever since. Our team here, we've got several teams. One that focuses on it's kind of a niche market, and our logo gives a nod to this, which focuses on the equine business. So we've got part of our team that work with horses and horse farms all over the Southeast. We have a part of our team that works with individuals, families, home, auto, a lot of the coverages that individuals need, as well as life insurance. And then the biggest portion of our business, and really where my focus is working with small to mid-sized companies. And I focus on working with businesses that are looking to grow and scale and take their business to the next level, and really trying to understand what their goals are and design their insurance program and their risk management strategy to accomplish that.
Perfect. So, really working with those small to medium sized businesses as a partner to help them grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, what is your vision? Where do you want to take the business long term?
Well, we've got a tremendous foundation. We've been in business for going on over 50 years now, but really continuing to develop the team that we have and grow what's there, with a focus more on quality over quantity. I can't tell you that there's any ambition or desire to have hundreds of folks working under our firm's brand, but we do want to continue to grow with a strong culture that's focused on excellence, integrity, and serving our clients, and really being a proactive advisor. And so for each of our clients that we partner with, the focus is that relationship and getting to know them, understand them and their needs, and deciding how we can come alongside them and partner to help them reach those goals.
Perfect. So, you talked a little bit about your ideal market, who you're trying to help. Can you elaborate just a little bit on what the ideal business you're trying to help looks like?
Okay, yeah, great question. And kind of as I noted, with a broad range of our various teams, there's very little in the insurance space that we don't touch on at some level. But really, our focus is going to be that company that's doing let's say between 5 and 100 million in revenue, that is looking to grow and is looking towards the future to say, what are the things I can do to get to that point, and to empower my company to be there. And there's a lot of insurance aspects that are part of that. There's a lot of planning that comes into play there. For a lot of our companies in the construction space, bonding plays a very big part of that. And then a big aspect that we come across that really, I believe, is overlooked from a risk management perspective is the contingency planning and perpetuation planning for those organizations. It's relatively easy to insure an organization from that catastrophic car accident, but many times you have those key individuals, and this really ties into part of what you help your clients with as well, just thinking through practically, and then on our side with insurance being the funding mechanism of saying, what happens if Nate is no longer a part of the business, or Nate is disabled, or your key person or a partner decides they want to exit the business, or what have you. And those things can be more catastrophic to a business many times than even a significant injury or a significant claim. So that's where we try to help come alongside our clients as their outsourced risk manager, and help them think about and consider their business from a variety of different dimensions.
Yeah, that's something I think a lot of business owners can overlook is, it's easy for them to have an insurance policy that can replace the loss of, financial. But when you go to replace that individual, I mean, sometimes they have a skill set that's just, it's very difficult to replace if it was even possible. So having a plan for that and being able to work through that is extremely important.
Well, the thing is, you look at, and this is true for every entrepreneur that we work with, they invest their heart and soul into their business. and they have a tremendous amount on the line, but then they also have a lot of other families. So in our case, we have over 25 families that are dependent on Harbin insurance for their livelihood. And so the last thing I want is my legacy is that I got hit by a bus and 25 families were destabilized, or you had, let's just say later on down the road, people fighting over what was going on or what have you. Most all that is very preventable with a good plan and strategy. And that's what I want to encourage clients to do well, is to run a business well, but also be prepared for when, not if. Everybody's going to exit their business, whether it's on their terms or on God's terms, but they're going to exit that business, and making sure they're ready to exit that business well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've been in the business quite a while now. Tell me a little bit about a mistake that you've made or a lesson that you've learned that other business owners or entrepreneurs can learn from, irregardless of what industry they're in.
Okay, that's a good question. I say I make mistakes on a daily basis. So, I'm a big advocate in continuing to learn and continuing to read and be around other people that are trying to do the same things that you are doing, as well as those who are further along. So if I had to speak to a mistake, I'm trying to peg it down to just one, but I think a lot of it's intentionally understanding how you're wired and doing what you can to learn how to engage other people. It's easier to engage people who are wired the same way you are, but also whether it's employees, whether it's customers, you're going to engage people who are wired very differently. And I think there's a lot of resources out there relating to personality and how you lead different types of people that help build those relationships. One book that I highly recommend, which is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and one of the habits is along the lines of being what's the phrase? It's being efficient with tasks and effective with people. And so you have to approach those very differently. I'm very much task oriented on the DISC profile. I'm a high D. And so my tendencies are on the task side of things. And so it's just learning what are good, healthy ways to communicate and lead and motivate people who think differently than you are, and being genuine and being upfront and direct and honest is very important to me. But it's just like, my natural tendency is not in the direction of affirmation. And so for a while, that was not something I focused on, and it's still something I'm learning on. But one of the things that I've come to realize is just because it's not natural doesn't mean it's not healthy. So it's like a salad. Me eating salads is not a natural thing, but it's a healthy habit. So I've got to work on it, even though it's not what I tend to just by nature.
Yeah. That's a great example. I like the salad example. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, no matter how good you are at your trade or your business, ultimately it's going to come down to your ability to deal with customers and your employees as well. If you can't manage that team, and that's going to be the stopping point for your business, that's going to be the ceiling you hit. So it's a great point.
Well, and everybody's got their own goals and objectives and things they're trying to get to. And we had this discussion internally with a client that from our professional view, everything in the world made sense to handle a situation one way. But as we talked to the client and better understood their goals and objectives, we understood why they were making the decision they were. And I think that's the goal for any of us, is just getting better at asking questions and listening, so that we get better at understanding the people around us.
Yep. So tell me a little bit about who is the best coach or mentor that you've ever had in the business, and why?
I'm trying to think. I've had a number of good mentors and people who have encouraged me along the way. But I'm going to say a gentleman by the name of Robert Sutter comes to mind. He's in his late 60s now, but has been a lifelong veteran in this industry. Was a partner in an agency, and also has done coaching for the last 15 to 20 years. and really has been a open ear of one, sharing what he's done and how he's done it, and also coming alongside and helping me work through situations that came up. And that's one value. Actually just came from an association lunch. It's a contractor group that we're a part of. But one thing I found that is most valuable with any group like that is the relationships with the other guys who are doing what you're doing, running a business, growing a business, and just collaboration. I've got a half a dozen guys running insurance agencies just like ours that I talk to on a weekly basis. And I'd consider each one of them a mentor in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's great. You touched on that earlier too. Having that community around you with like-minded individuals that are driven by the same or similar goals as you, I think is really important. You can definitely learn a lot from that environment.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about what the future looks like for your business and what are some challenges you see moving forward?
Well, I think the future is very bright. I see a lot of opportunity, and I think that the as our culture changes and shifts more towards engagement like this via Zoom call, and where technology plays a bigger role, also the need for those close relationships, those advisory relationships, continues to grow and even become more important, just because the options and the tools available to clients to grow their business are going to only increase. And so I see that as a win for a business owner. And so it's just more about deciding what are those vital partnerships to have. The people aspect of business is and has been and will continue to be, I think, the central role. If you can get the right people on your team and incentivize them, motivate them, empower them to make an impact and serve your clients well, that is the crux of success, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So you've had a lot of great advice. What is one thing you would recommend to a young person starting their first business in the world today?
I would say go in with both eyes open. And what I mean by that is talk to a lot of people. I've bought a lot of cups of coffee, and I've never found it to be a waste of time to go to coffee or breakfast or lunch with someone. I learn a lot. Sometimes those are people where that meeting is the only time we'll ever talk, and other times we're sitting right back down to talk again in another month, 3 months, or 3 years. And so I found what I've learned, but also the network you build by talking to those people and learning from them is invaluable. And so don't do that just when you're starting, but do that throughout. Find those people that you admire, look up to, and emulate. Find those people who are 5, 10 years ahead of you, and take them out to lunch and pick their brain, because most of them are going to be very much willing to help you and willing to share advice, share some more stories. And if you continue to surround yourself by people that you want to be like, by people that challenge you to get outside your comfort zone. I've got several folks that I've been hanging around that, man, they're challenging me and making me think and stretching where I'm at. And to me, that's a good place to be in.
Absolutely. That cost of lunch may be the best money you ever spend.
100%.
Awesome. So how can people find out more about you or Harbin Insurance? What's the best way to find you?
Well, I can say I'm old fashioned. Most people I do business with is a face-to-face meeting, which is a phone call or an email, but our website's harbinagency.com. We're fairly active on Facebook, but my email address is michaelh@harbinagency.com. Our number is 770-461-4315. And those are a lot of different ways to find us and get in touch with us, but always welcome a phone call and get a chance to talk to someone.
Perfect. And I'll link all that information in the description so people can easily find it. So my last question for you today is, what most inspires you as you move forward in the business?
It's a good question. I would say I'm going to go 2 different directions. I'd say one, my family. I've got 3 little girls, and they depend on me and look up to me. And I have a lot of responsibility for who they are today and who they will become. And so that inspires me to grow and become a better person. But then I also have 25 amazing team members that are part of the team here at Harbin Insurance that the relationship is different, but me continuing to grow and do well at what I do and get better at what I do also allows them to do the same. And there's a podcast I love listening to by a gentleman named Craig Groeschel. And one of his quotes is that when a leader gets better, everybody gets better. And so that's my desire, and the inspiration I have is to continue to grow, because that allows other people that are a part of my life to continue to grow and become better versions of themselves.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again, Michael. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me today.
All right. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate you having me on.